This is Vinales. They know a lot about tobacco here. This is where 85% of the country's tobacco is grown. So bring a delegation of North Carolina farmers here, no surprise. They know a little something about that too.
A ese 10% que es el consumo, le hacemos una segunda fermentación.
So that's 10% we make a second fermentation process.
When a conversation is held in two different languages, things can sometimes get lost in translation. But in a conversation between a farmer from Cuba and one from North Carolina, there's one word that needs no translation.
Tabaco.
Tobacco.
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 The word may be the same. What's different is who produces it and how.
Different way of curing, but same principle, I think. So with the poles and the tying the tobacco up and everything.
It's one of the differences noticed by the North Carolina Agriculture Delegation exploring trade opportunities in Cuba. In Cuba, many of the tobacco farmers sell most of their crop to the government. Ivan Hernandez, for instance, tells us the government buys 90% of his tobacco. He gets to keep the rest or sell it. Step outside the world of tobacco. The differences can be just as drastic.
Their crop management and production systems are so different than our large-scale production in North Carolina. Hand labor versus equipment. We've seen very little tractors that weren't moving people.
What kind are they?
It's some type of batata, boniata, but I don't know which one.
Understanding the crops and operations of the agriculture industry in Cuba
Tropical.
It's tropical.
Perfect weather, man, hot and wet.
is part of the process of exploring those trade relations.
So are they avoiding the summer months?
The questions, the explanations, the dialogue, as this delegation understands it, is crucial. And even if some things might get lost in translation, others are just understood.
No matter where you are in the world, farmers are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to feed their communities, and feed the world.
And so this wraps up the 3-day trip for the 28 agriculture leaders from North Carolina. They'll head back home now, and they've already invited their counterparts here in Cuba to visit them in North Carolina. In Cuba, I'm Layla Santiago, WRAL News.